What are we doing with our lives?
What are we
don't
doing?
know.
We're trying to figure that out.
That's kind of the point. That's kind of what we're doing, is figuring out what we're doing with our lives.
But freedom of time, to be able to do what I want,
Time,
when
location,
I want,
financial
where I
freedom.
want. Exactly. That is the ultimate goal. When you have that, I think that is success to the ultimate.
Our life is for living. It's for exploring every part of yourself and exploring the world and what it has to offer and what the people have to offer.
What's up, fam?
I'm Montana.
I'm Vieran.
And we're bringing you Sugar in the Rust.
Sugar, baby. We'll bring you that sugar. Send some sugar this way.
Please subscribe, send us sugar.
Right.
So we are today doing our first vlog in a vlog series that we will continue to explain all of the aspects of our current lifestyle, the trip that we're on, our love, our life.
So much more.
Liberty.
Like this. And if you guys have any suggestions that you might want to hear or talk about, just please let us know.
Put in the comments, like, what are your questions?
Exactly.
So I think essentially the question of what are we doing, what would be, we're backpacking Southeast Asia for 6 months, right?
Well, listen, how did this come about? I think we should discuss that first.
Okay, so this was last March, which is
last
now,
March, yes.
So like half a year ago at this point, we were on our honeymoon cruise for a week.
In the
Bahamas, or not honeymoon, our anniversary trip. And we both it kind of organically came up that we were unsatisfied at our jobs, that we wanted to do something different, but that neither of us knew what that meant. And so it kind of sprouted in this conversation of like, I want to quit my job. Wait, you want to quit your job too? Okay, so if we quit our jobs, what does that look like? What are we going to do? We're not just going to be couch potatoes and do nothing and just be unemployed. Although that's okay, take a break sometimes. But we wanted to do something with this time. We have been married now for almost 2 years. At the time, it was just our first anniversary. We don't have kids yet. We do want to have them in the future. But now was the time to travel. We're young, we have money saved, we have a house that we could rent out that made it possible for us to do this trip, and we'll talk more about that as well.
My initial plan was maybe doing South America, but this lady over here had different ideas. She's like, no, I want to do 6 months and I want to go to Southeast Asia. I'm like, oh. I had doubts about that because it's so far away.
Yes.
But again.
But exactly, that's why now is the time to do it.
Yeah, that was the best time to do it.
Right.
Exactly.
The whole reason that I wanted to do Southeast Asia rather than South America is because South America is closer. It's a lot easier for us to get there. It's much closer to home. And so I thought that, we can do a month-long trip there. We can do 3 months there at some point. But for this trip and having 6 months to do this.
Long time.
Yeah. And also just knowing the culture of Southeast Asia and how, spiritual it is and calming and peaceful.
Yeah.
And I was definitely at a place in my life where I was not feeling those things internally. I was a hot mess inside. I'm still working through a lot of those things. I felt like pretty traumatized by my last job and the way that I was treated, that other employees were treated. That's a whole nother vlog for another day.
We don't want to get too much into that.
Someday we might get into that. But basically just needed to do something different and really wanted to re-find myself, reconnect with the world, the universe, get out of the American hustle culture that's just grind, work. Like the rest of the world doesn't live that way. And so it was important to take ourselves out of that to reinvigorate our souls. And for me, that was a big part of what this trip was. But of course, we're two different individuals. And so this trip does not have the exact same purpose or meaning for both of us. Clearly, we're on it together and our dreams and life goals line up.
Well, for me, what initially gave me, even before I met Montana or started dating Montana, I always had this idea in my head that, like, I just wanted to travel, see the world, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be old, with kids, maybe being dead. I don't know what the future holds. So it's better to do stuff now when you do have the opportunity. Well, this is a great opportunity. Let's quit our jobs. Not necessarily
Do it.
we hated our
Quit
jobs,
your job. Quit
just,
it.
just experience new things. You know, we're still young. We still have 30, 40 years of our lives to still work. So like, let's just leave the country, go explore new cultures, new countries, new experiences, new foods. There's so many things that you can enjoy and experience in just one city, let alone in on the entire different world, different side of the world, going to Southeast Asia. We didn't have an exact plan of where we were going exactly.
Or where we are going. We still don't know exactly where we are going.
That is true.
As we continue.
She really fell in love with that Southeast Asia. In my mind, I never had Southeast Asia in my mind.
I've always wanted to go to Southeast Asia, especially Thailand.
Yeah, I initially wanted to go to South America because of the Spanish language. I wanted to go there to immerse myself with the people, with the culture, and become fluent in Spanish. And I love the language, and I'm still continuing to learn. But anyways, besides that,
he speaks great Spanish. It's his third language.
I do, but
it's very impressive.
Not fluent enough to where I can just go ahead and communicate with anybody, just like how me and you are talking right now. Even though my idea was go to South America, her idea was go to Southeast Asia, we came to the conclusion to go to Southeast Asia.
Coming to you from Siem Reap, Cambodia.
And now here we are. I was like, well, listen, there's inflation going on in the United States. Everything's up in prices. She had a car that she purchased. She financed it. So I had this idea in my head. Well, let's try to get rid of as much of debt as we can while everything's still high, and maybe even make some money, get some money back from the car that she bought.
Yeah, well, that was awesome. I was able to sell my car, like a year and a half after purchasing it for the exact same amount that I bought it for. So I basically just drove a car for free for a year and a half.
Yeah, I think that we definitely did not lose on this car.
I didn't lose money, that's for sure.
So not even that,
but that's cool.
But then again, the real estate market. We bought our house when the real estate was great. Interest rates were like all-time low. We've never heard of interest rates being at 3%.
Right.
So.
And it was 2019.
2019, before the pandemic.
December 2019. And we also have a video where we do a tour of our house. If you're interested, check that out.
I was like, we can take advantage of all these things for financial reasons. Yeah. So it was like, well, let's post our house to see what we can rent it for. Because everything in our neighborhood was going for much more than we anticipated ever. Yeah, even now. And as you see, interest rates right now are 7-8%. Even though home values might be going down, to still buy at the price that we bought it for, our mortgage will still be absurdly high. So I'm glad we did that. So that's one of the reasons, along with trying to get rid of some of our debts and experiencing new cultures.
Yeah. So along with like the very base answer of like, what are we doing? Part of that is we're renting our house out for 6 months so that we can go backpack Southeast Asia for 6 months. And of course, we have money saved, and we will be dipping into that a little bit. But the money from the house is really helping us on this trip, and it's making sure that our mortgage is covered, our basic bills back home, so that we're not just like bleeding money as we travel. So that has been so important. Mm-hmm. So we're renting out the house. Mm-hmm. We are starting to bring in a little bit of money from this vlogging gig, but V is also managing some Airbnb properties back home, so that also brings in some income as well that makes this trip possible.
Moving forward now, just thinking about like all the things we were paying for and what we're paying here, oh my god, like for example, like my car insurance alone was more than we paid rent in Chiang Mai for a whole month.
Yeah, check out our apartment hunting videos in both Da Nang and Chiang Mai. And if you're in the States right now, it might make you cry, but it'll be inspiring and they're fun to watch.
For sure. And
go travel.
Yeah,
now's a great time.
Just go explore, you know what I mean? Because new opportunities will arise. You might learn so much more about yourself, maybe what you want to do in the future, maybe something else, pick up new hobbies, maybe a new language. There's so many more opportunities than being behind a desk
Yeah.
or a job that you may
If
not
you're
like.
not happy, I mean, I think that for me, part of this is that like I was so unhappy in my job. And a lot of that had to do with the culture that was being created that was super unhealthy. But then I had to look even further past that and be like, is this environment in general, even if it was like the best culture, is this what I'd want to be doing forever? And I think that definitely for me, I'm a Gemini. I love change. I love adapting. I have like 20 million thousand interests, so I get bored with things quickly. And so for me, it's kind of like I don't think I want to go back to that 9 to 5 and be in a box and have to be this one specific thing for one organization. And not be able to grow as a person in all the different ways that I want to. Like, our life is for living. It's for exploring every part of yourself and exploring the world and what it has to offer and what the people have to offer. And so part of this for me was figuring out like what do I want to do with my life? Is it something different? And I mean, we're also, part of the what is we're also like creating this brand. We're doing, digital content creation, making these videos for you guys of our travels, of all the things that we're doing, and trying to grow that as well and see what comes of that. I mean, obviously, it's really early days and content creation is a long game. But it has been exciting to learn new skills and to be able to work for ourselves while traveling.
Exactly, and that is something we probably could not or would not have the time to do if we stayed at our jobs.
Right.
We wouldn't
No,
be able to
there's no
experience
way.
these new things,
Yeah.
or maybe learn new hobbies or new skills.
And in the careers that we were in, we did not have that opportunity. Like,
No.
we didn't do things that we could do remotely. It wasn't an option. And so it wasn't like we could tell our jobs, like, hey, can we work remotely for the next 6 months? Or, we had to quit. There was no option.
Well, like for me, like I think in my mind, the ultimate goal would have been really like to have freedom of time, to be able to do what I want,
Time,
when
location,
I want,
financial
where I
freedom.
want. Exactly. That is the ultimate goal. When you have that, I think that is success to the ultimate. When you can be able to do that, that's like the best thing ever.
And
honestly.
we definitely, when we first like had this conversation on our anniversary and like we got back home and kept talking about it, we definitely went down the YouTube rabbit hole. Like all of the travel couples, all of the travel
they also
vloggers.
inspired us too, though. Like I always watch YouTube videos like of people traveling, experiences new cultures, talking to new people.
Like we hope we're inspiring
foods.
you right now.
Yeah. And seeing that stuff, like, damn man, I want to do that. And then, like, there wasn't much stopping us. You know what I mean? Well, another thing is if you have a partner, that partner has to be down. That's or true. Like outgoing, adventurous. Because if they're not, you can have one partner who loves to do this stuff, but the other one who's a homebody and might not be able to do this.
Yeah.
And it might not work for that couple, you know. But for us, luckily, we were on the same page with this. Not Southeast Asia, but now here we are.
we are clearly on the same page as we are now in Cambodia.
Yes, it's like looking back at it now, like last 4 months. Like I am so glad we did this in Thailand. Oh my God. Everybody who's watching this
lives up to its reputation.
To go to Thailand. Anywhere you go, the vibe and energy is something completely different on another level to anywhere else. Yeah. Sorry, United States.
No, that's another thing is if you really think that like USA above everything, and don't get us wrong, we love our home country. There's so many amazing, wonderful things about it that are unique to the United States. But you really can't say like it's the best country in the world or like #1 when you haven't even experienced other cultures or places.
I would say also like take advantage. Yes, that you live in the United States. You have that opportunity. You know what I mean? Because you probably have a well-paying job to be able to take that money and travel. Because that dollar is worth so much more than any other country in Southeast Asia.
And it's expensive to get here, no doubt.
That's the biggest.
The plane trip is
and
not a fun bill to pay, and it's very long, like 24 to 48 hours, depending on your route. It's expensive to get here, but once you're here, super cheap. And we've not been doing it as cheaply as possible because we've been doing a lot of activities.
For sure, yes.
A lot of activities, a lot of traveling. If you were to like pick one place and just stay there for a while like we did in Chiang Mai. We saved a ton of money the month that we were in Chiang Mai
Yeah.
because our rent was like $200 for the
whole
month.
Yeah, and
Not even.
we had people come in there and clean our apartment as well. Like
And
just a
so we
cleaning
didn't
fee in the
have,
United States would have been $200-300
Yeah.
for like 3 or 4 times.
yeah,
Like
food cost is super low. Transportation, we rented a motorbike for.
motorbike was $60 for the whole month.
Yeah,
For
and
the
that's
whole
like
month.
you don't need separately insurance. And
That's what you pay for gas for a
it's
week
just
in
that.
America.
Yeah, so that's been amazing.
Oh my God, yes. It's just fun, you know what I mean? A lot of this content creation, we just don't do it for you guys. We also do it for ourselves. When we
Yeah.
do get older and we have kids, we want to be able to look back at this to see what, hey, look what your parents have done. You know, your parents are cool. Can you do this? Match us.
Yeah, if you've ever thought about starting a vlog, I guess I like never really thought about it before until this trip. But you know, now I'm like, dang, I wish I had done it for all of our other trips too, because it's so cool to have the videos for
like,
our memories. Great if it blows up. Awesome if this becomes a full-time gig. I would love that. But you know, even if it doesn't, it will.
It's mostly
regardless,
like for us as well.
yeah, it's for
sure.
us and for our future, and to share with the people that know us and love us, and hopefully everyone who watches becomes people that knows us and loves us, and we love.
Like, share, whatever you have to do. Listen, show some
Whatever
love.
you have to do.
Show some sugar, baby. Sugar in the Ross. Show some sugar. That is great, baby. I love that name. Sugar in the Ross.
I'm a branding genius.
Branding genius.
You're
right
welcome.
here. Yes.